88% have not used the Career Development Center. So wow, that's super exciting. So hopefully we are sharing brand new material today, especially if you're a freshman. So this will be new to you. So I want to start, but I'm Debbie Young. I'm the director of the Career Center. And I've been at Fresno State actually for 31 years and worked in the Craig School of Business for a number of those years and then switched over to this role, but worked a lot with career journeys with specifically students in business. And my own son went to Fresno State as a freshman and finished as a senior and is now out working. But it's never too early to start your career journey. So being a freshman, good for you that you're here today. Sophomores, juniors, seniors, grad students, we all need a game plan when it comes to our careers. We all even have game plans, when to start a career, when to end a career, when to switch careers, when to switch industries. It's really an important part of your life. It's lifelong. You will be switching careers probably many times in industries in your life. So we're hoping today that we can give you some tools that you'll get to carry with you all the way to when you graduate from Fresno State and continue on with your career journey. So our experts are ready to go today, and they are going to answer a series of questions kind of based on your level you are at school. And we're going to start with freshmen. So we have Jody and Daniel in the ring, and they're going to answer our questions today for our career game plan for freshmen. So make sure you take notes, because this really is a journey that you're going to have over your next 4 years at Fresno State, and you want to make sure you're thinking about these things, not just taking class and getting through classes and getting your degree, but what's going to happen to you after you graduate. So Daniel and Jody, I'm a freshman. Isn't it too early for me to be thinking about a career path?
Absolutely not. Basically, this is a perfect time to start thinking about your career path. And the main reason is, as a freshman, you're taking a lot of introductory and general education courses. And this is just basically a great time to reflect and making sure that you're in the right major. 3 out of 4 students will change their major at least once. And a lot of times this does happen in your freshman year, and that's perfectly fine and normal to happen. The other thing is, while you're doing this, it's an ample opportunity to learn about yourself and explore career options. And there is a large myth out there that says, once I choose my major, that will equal my career. But a major is actually just a platform to give you a lot of variations of career options. And so by thinking about this will allow you to know a little bit more about the career path you might be going down. And exploring early could definitely help you create a career plan during your college journey.
Great, thank you, Jody.
You're welcome.
So what if, well, first of all, how about we make this interactive in the chat feature? Could everyone put what major they are? And if you're undeclared, could you put that in there as well? Just because a lot of you are freshmen, I'm very curious if you know your major. So my next question is, what if I don't know what I want to major? And we know majors are important to careers, but what if I don't even know? I'm coming in as a freshman. I think I might want to do nursing, but maybe I should do accounting. How do you know?
Well, one of the things Jody and I talked in preparation for this, that we've seen a lot of students explore their careers or majors in 2 different ways. One of those ways is to think about the major itself and then learn about the career pathways that come out of that major, or what we have seen students follow as they graduate. Or the other way around, is think about the careers that really caught your attention and circle it back to what kind of majors align with that. So what we're going to do right now is Damien's going to share our website, and we want to show you how to do either of those approaches. And this is perfect for a freshman, because right now you're taking, as Jody mentioned, those introductory classes. You may not be have a lot of time commitments as a freshman, so this would be a lot of activities that you can do as you have some quote unquote free time between your classes and assignments. So if Damien, can you scroll down to our web resources? And if someone can put our website link in the chat, that way students could also take note of that. But as you get to our website, the first way that we talked about to explore those career options out of a major, you can look at what can I do with this major. So if Damien's going to hover right over the icon, that right there is going to show you a variety of majors and career pathways that align with those. So that could be a great starting point. And there's also great resources and links as you explore each major. The one next to it, the Career Development Center team, the one where it says Job Options and Outlook, we also took a look at the major specific to Fresno State. And we collected some data as far as like what kind of jobs align with that major, how much do people get paid. But we wanted to make it very, I would say, very aligned to the Central Valley, and also give you information about what our recent grads are doing there. So if you click that one, you can see the 8 academic colleges or schools at Fresno State. And when you click into one of them specifically, you'll see the majors that are housed in each of those 8 colleges. And I know that can be confusing when you're a freshman and you think of, well, my college is Fresno State. But within Fresno State, there's different, I like to call them kind of houses that then that's where the specific majors belong. So what you see in your screen, you're going to see a major within the School of Business. And if you scroll throughout this document, you'll see different career pathways that are listed in there, information about salaries, where do they work, what do they do. But if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you're going to see great information as far as where are our recent graduates working. What is their job title? What is the name of a local company? For some of these sheets, we have information about what is the average entry-level salary that they're making. So that's what you can see right there. So we encourage you to do some of that major to career exploration as a freshman. And those are 2 great tools for you to start doing that. For the other approach, when you think about, okay, I have an idea to explore a career and then trace it back to majors, we encourage you to take a career assessment. So if it's okay, Jody, I'd like to tag you into this one to kind of talk about how to approach a career assessment, how to think about careers that match, and then how to trace it back to a major.
So basically what you really want to do is take a career assessment. It doesn't really matter what career assessment you do take. You'll notice on there it says Pathway U. We will have another one coming up called Focus 2. Either one works really well because it looks at different areas. It looks at your interests, your values, your personality, and it coincides together to say these are majors that really match who you are, because we're not just one-dimensional, we overlap. And so the biggest thing is finding where we overlap the most. And what's nice about the Focus 2 is it really aligns you up with the Fresno State majors, and the same thing with Pathway U. It gives you pathways into careers. And so each of them work really well. So I would definitely say take a career assessment. Even if you are a graduate student on here, a career assessment is a great way to learn about who you are and ultimately how to answer those questions like, why should I hire you? So definitely continue to take career assessments throughout your time here at Fresno State. But Pathway U and Focus 2 are your best starting points.
Great, thank you, Daniel. This is Debbie again. I'm gonna go off my video because I can see my internet is slowing way down with all these bodies online together. So we do notice in the chat, we've got quite a variety of majors today, team. We've got interior design, computer engineering, sports administration, psychology. There's an undecided, physics, civil engineering, crim, illustration, media, liberal studies, mass comm. Quite a mix of students today, which is really great. We did have a question, and maybe we can, because we're talking about majors, someone in the question and answer, Jody and Daniel is saying, I'm a biology major. Is it too late for me to switch?
No, definitely not. The biggest thing that you want to do is if you already know what major you're going into, go to that college. But before you do that, a lot of times they will boomerang you back to us and just to verify that you are going towards the right area. So you could always take a career assessment. So even though you have an idea, let's say you're biology and you're wanting to go to sociology, it's best to start with that career assessment, the Focus 2 or the Pathway U, just to verify and just to confirm, yes, I am going to the right area. And I will be talking about in a second about how you're choosing the career paths, because we only know what we know. And so that's going to be answered pretty soon.
Okay, great. So Jody and Daniel, is it too early to go to a career counselor if I'm a freshman?
No, it's never too early. We basically assist you in creating short and long-term career development goals. And so the biggest thing that we could do is expose you to careers. If I asked everyone on here to name 100 careers, I could definitely tell you're going to have a lot of problems because we've only been exposed to a certain thing. We're basically exposed to careers 3 different ways. And so the very first way is our home and our family. So that's looking at your parents, your aunts, your uncles. What do they do for a living? That's your first exposure. The next one is the community, where you grew up in. And so if you grew up here in Fresno, the biggest thing is, ag, health is the first things that come to mind because those are the largest industries. But let's say you grew up in like Corcoran, that has a state prison. So corrections and agriculture would come to mind. So there are thousands of careers out there that you've never been exposed to. So it's really important to come and talk to one of us and get that exposure. And sometimes it is taking that career assessment to gain more knowledge about what careers there are. But regarding your career and interest, so if you already have, this is the career path I'm going into, we could really help you explore and learn the opportunities to develop the skills needed to make yourself employable at the end.
Yeah, and just a tag team real quick to that. Sometimes as a freshman, when I thought of myself as a freshman, I found out that internships or sometimes specific type of part-time jobs wanted a more like older student, like a junior or a senior. But think about it as a freshman, you may have more time to explore student involvement opportunities like joining a club or doing some volunteer work that can help you start collecting experiences. So when you reach a certain level of units or standing like a junior, you're more competitive along with your coursework. You have some experiences to apply for an internship or apply for a part-time job that relates to your career. So we can also help you, as you see in our screen right under our names. We specialize in specific majors or colleges in Fresno State. So if you have a question about sciences, you can definitely reach out to me. If you have a question about education, do reach out to Jody and then the rest of the team like that, because we'll know of a place to volunteer. We'll know of a place to an organization to join that is going to benefit you in the long run. So it's not too early to see us as a freshman. We can kind of help you start developing those plans that Jody talked about.
Great. Thank you, Daniel. So someone's asking the question right now, well, what building would I go to because I'm arts and humanities? Well, the nice thing is because we're 100% online, Jody is actually the person right there smiling. She's the one who's going to be your arts and humanities liaison. And the beauty is you can see her on Zoom. So you can actually see a career counselor this semester all through Zoom appointments. If you're not comfortable with that, we do telephone calls as well. We have career peer mentors too. We have a virtual cafe, and we'll get to that a little bit later on in the presentation of where you would find us, how you would connect with us. But the beauty is virtually, we can meet with any of you. You know, we've got a lot of availability that we can meet with you because we're in a virtual space. Somebody's asking a question. I'm a liberal studies major minoring in TESL. I plan on getting my multiple subject credential. How can the minor in TESL help me with a career in elementary school? What kinds of jobs besides being a traditional teacher? Judy,
so basically with liberal studies, the biggest thing is it's a platform that is I always called it upper division gen ed. I myself have a liberal studies undergrad, so does Daniel. So the two of us definitely know exactly where you're going from. But if you decide not to go towards the traditional teaching path, there are different teaching areas that you could go into that's not actually in a school. You could go towards corrections. You could go towards the private. There's a lot of agricultural based companies that now have schools. So there's a lot of different areas that you could go into, a lot of industries that hire an educational aspect person, but ultimately having your TESOL, the biggest thing is that will allow you to work within the courts. There's a lot of different career paths. So that's definitely something I would say, make an appointment with me and we could explore in greater detail about what area you really want to work in, because environment plays a huge role in the happiness of your career, about where you're actually going to work every day. So that's a very personalized thing. So I would definitely say make an appointment with me. I'm your liaison, and we could talk about it in greater detail.
Thank you. Life has become interesting, hasn't it? Because who would have ever thought our careers were going to take place from our homes? We all have been sheltering in place since March the 20th. So this whole virtual world has created kind of a whole new way in looking at careers today as well. People are asking questions about classes. Unfortunately, that's probably out of the purview of what we're doing today, what our class is going to be like. Somebody's asking, I'm really not sure. It depends on what college, what course, what instructor. So, and somebody asked about Canvas. Those are all questions that hopefully you're going to hear from your instructors through Canvas on whether they're going to have live classes or recorded classes. So my suggestion would be is to get in touch with your instructor. would probably be the best way to get information on that. That probably doesn't so much deal with the Career Center. Audrey, are you seeing any other questions on the chat feature relating to freshmen?
I do have some questions asking if you can just make an announcement. They're wanting to know if this is recorded and where they can find it after.
Yes, so we are recording today and are on our website. If we'll get to that today, I believe. I don't think Nora's on. We do have a YouTube channel that's linked to our website. I know that she had it in the carousel at the top of our webpage that's scrolling with different pictures and links. You can click that on, and that, Jody or Daniel, do you know, is that set up?
Yes, it's set up. So if it's not in the carousel, it's when you look at the main website, it will be on the left-hand side, and it has all of our icons for all of our social media sites, and YouTube is right there.
Yeah, so you just click on YouTube, and in fact, any webinars we've already done this summer are already on there. So great. Anything else, Audrey?
Yes. If the day comes where I decide to change my major, will I be wasting a year because I have to retake classes for the other specific major?
No, not necessarily. The biggest thing about your freshman year is you're taking general education. So so try to really focus on just the basic, the English, the math, the health, the poli-sci. So if you just do the basic, everyone has to take those basic courses. So you're not wasting a year, no. The only bad thing is if you decide to go towards like something like business or engineering, a lot of prerequisite courses that you might be taking your freshman year would not be, you would have failed to take those at that time. But it's not wasting a year, most definitely not.
Okay, and I am going in as an undeclared major. How would I switch to this? How would I switch this to a civil engineering major?
Well, if you're undeclared, your advising center is the University Advising Center, the UAC, and so you could go talk to them. Otherwise, you could always make contact with me. I'm the undeclared, and I could tell you the step 1, step 2 of how to verify that you are going towards the right major, and then I could hand you off over to the engineering department, to the advisors over there.
Great, thank you. So another question, I've heard as a freshman that it's good to get involved in clubs or organizations. What's your suggestions on there's so many of them, how do I pick the right one for me, and how could that help me in a career path?
It's definitely good to join an organization. The biggest thing is choose one that's based on your interests. So it's your leisure interest, things that you find fun, and also your professional interest. There are actually 372 clubs and organizations listed at ASI's Engage site. So if you go, so if you notice, if you scroll down just a little bit, you'll see there's 3 little areas that you could go into. So make your college experience memorable and meaningful. And one of those that says Explore Engage, that's where you'll find the 372 clubs that's there. It's broken down in different categories. It's a single login. So use your Fresno State login. There's like academic, club, sports, competitive, cultural, performance. That's where you find the fraternities and sororities that we offer. There's even recreational and volunteer that's listed there. So I would definitely say this is a site that you definitely want to go to. I typically tell, since there's a lot of freshmen, but I typically tell freshmen, sophomores to join more than one. And then that way you can see if this is a good fit for me, and then join another one. During your freshman year, it's really nice to take more, become more involved, because ultimately you become more part of our campus, but also you get to explore and meet a lot of people. One good thing about joining clubs, it's a lot of networking. So you meet students and professionals that have really common goals and interests with you. You also will connect with faculty and staff, because there's a faculty staff club advisor, and they could even write potential letters of recommendation for you. So I would say that definitely get involved, try to join more than one. And if you're really looking for something that's just volunteering, there's usually a club for that, but there's also the Rector Center. So you could actually go to the Rector Center. If we were in our main office, Thomas 103 is just 2 doors down from us, the Rector Center, and that's where you can find service learning and volunteering. So definitely get involved. Every single thing that you do will be a resume builder. So even as a freshman, everything you'll learn good communication, time management, even management. So definitely take advantage of joining a club or an organization while you're here at Fresno State.
Yeah, and just real quick, to put this all into perspective, I had a physics student that was really interested in engaging on undergraduate research, working with faculty, or doing an internship as a freshman. And we realized that he needed, to take some prereq courses to have the concepts or the educational background to be able to do a specific research he wanted, or even do an internship. So what he did in the meantime, he joined the physics club, and he took a leadership position right away. He was part of organizing an event where the physics club members were able to travel to one of the NASA sites, and they were able to already start talking to engineers or physicists. So that was a great experience for him. He got to focus on networking, building connections with folks in NASA as a freshman, and now he's establishing those relationships and connections as he goes through his coursework. He already is getting and learning about different opportunities that he'll be ready in a few semesters. So don't feel like you have to wait until you're a sophomore or junior to start doing these things. This is a great start as a freshman. A club, a professional associations. If you're a pre-med route, there's pre-med clubs, pre-optometry, pre-veterinarian clubs. So there's just a whole world out there, and they are active this upcoming semester virtually. So be on the lookout for emails or just start exploring those opportunities.
Somebody's asking, how can we join a club or organization at this time of year where everything is online?
If I'll answer that one. If you go back to Engage, Damien, most of the organizations either have a contact of the student, usually the president, or they may have the contact for the club advisor, which is either a faculty, a professor, or a staff member on campus. So you can click on those icons. A lot of the clubs also have social media sites. So for example, I know the Pre-Med Club are super active in Instagram. So if you follow them on Instagram, you can send them a direct message and they can tell you about their upcoming events. I believe they have a social coming up in a month. So be in the lookout for these type of, you also may get emails from them. So just be aware that there's different ways to connect with them, and they will be active virtually this semester.
Okay, great, thank you. Someone's asking in the Q&A, how would I contact the undeclared major advisor? It's called UAC, Undergraduate Advising Center, and they're actually online. So you can just Google on the Fresno State website, Undergraduate Advising Center, and that will pop up for you. Is joining clubs and organizations the best way to network with our online learning community? Your online learning community is probably going to have like Google Hangouts or some other social feature to it. You may or may not meet people that's in your online learning community through clubs or organizations, but clubs and organizations will expose you to people from all over campus. So there's kind of advantages to both of those. We're going to talk about Hire Fresno State. We're also going to talk about internships pretty soon. Are there any organizations or clubs related to education, Jody, that you know of?
Yeah, so if you actually go to the left-hand side, Damien, if you go back up and see where it says, no, right before that, so unclick out of that box, see where it says search organizations. If you put education there, you'll find which ones have education. So oh, you have it under professional, but it's fine. But there's early childhood education. There's variations of education. There's the Fresno State Student California Teachers Association. So there's quite a few that's for education.
Okay, awesome, great. Okay, well, we're running out of time, so we're gonna move on to sophomores next. So we have, Nora had an internet problem, so we're just gonna have Sheila right now. Sheila, how do I start to gain some experience while I'm at Fresno State? When I'm a sophomore or even a freshman, how do I gain experience?
Hi, everyone. I have my monitor off because my computer's glitching. So you're not going to see my face, but I'd be more than happy to talk about that. I know that Jody and Daniel just covered a lot of what I was going to say as far as experiences, but you're gaining experience in the classroom is every day that you're attending. You're doing group projects, you're doing classroom presentations, you might be volunteering. If you're not volunteering, you might want to connect with the Richter Center on campus, who has hundreds of hours looking for volunteers in the community. There are multiple ways to gain that experience. And we also in the Career Development Center talk a lot about career readiness skills. while you're doing these things in the classroom or on the job or volunteering, you're gaining what we call career readiness skills. These skills are oftentimes called transferable skills, and the latest buzzword is called portable skills. And these are skills that employers are looking for that you can take with you in anything, any job that you do from one to the next. Those are critical thinking, problem solving, leadership skills, communication skills. Those are all skills outside of the technical skills that you can take with you in any job that employers, believe it or not, 9 times out of 10, they're in the top 3 skills that they're looking for. And then the technical skills, of course, are always up there as well. But those are the experiences that you're getting in the classroom, either volunteering or in the clubs or organizations that you do join.
Great, thank you, Sheila. So if you haven't kind of seen a theme right now, what Jody and Daniel went over is when you're a freshman, you're kind of in a discovery mode. You're doing assessment. Who am I? What am I about? What's my major? Joining clubs and organizations, starting to see a career counselor. Sheila's kind of moving now more into investigation. Okay, I am a biology major. I'm an accounting major. I'm mass comm communications. You know, what's out there for me and how do I gain some experience and skills that will be valued for me to find employment then after I graduate? So Sheila, do you think it's too early as a sophomore? We're talking about part-time jobs. What do I do about creating a resume? Should I start that as a sophomore?
Well, let me back up and say that it's never too early to attend a career fair before we talk about the resumes, if you don't mind, Debbie. I think it's important that you attend career fair early in your academic career, only because it's never too early to start the exploration phase of your academic career by having conversations with professionals in the field, as well as industries, researching industries to see what your major may lead to. What can I do with this major is one of the things on our homepage of our website to see where that major could lead to as far as professional world after. So I think it's important to start networking. And when you are, you're also building the resume. When you talk to employers at the career fair, you're building skills that they're looking for by doing your volunteer, your classroom, your part-time job. So those experiences go on the resume. So as a sophomore, you're transitioning really out of the high school realm and into the college realm, because we realize as a freshman or sophomore, you may not be having the experiences yet, but as you are exposed to them in the classroom or as you start joining clubs or organizations, you're building those experiences to put on the resume. So it's never too early to start your resume. In fact, on our job board, Hire Fresno State, we do require that you upload a resume in order to apply for positions that you might find on the job board, Hire Fresno State. So you'll want to update that resume often as you are exposed to experiences and exploring as far as through clubs and organizations and building those skills. So I know it's a lot, Debbie, but I kind of merged 2 into 1 there.
Yeah, no, that's perfectly fine because we want to make sure we get to juniors and seniors. And maybe the 3 of you, Sheila, Daniel and Jody, are there resources on our website? We have a lot of resources on the career. It's kind of overwhelming, but it's so full of great information. Is there anything in particular that stands out that you would say as a freshman, as a sophomore, you absolutely need to do this from our website? What would you suggest if each of you maybe could give one resource?
I would say our success guide. That's the one that's dead center. And it's a lot of information in there. The digs is also listed in there, just a couple of pages in. And it actually does a great breakout. So the discovery, the investigate, and each of those areas will actually say what you should be doing in those during that time. And if you go one more page, it's actually broken down from freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. So it's kind of like a little checklist for you. So I definitely say that's your go-to.
So page 4 is super important. You've got a list there. So we're basically summarizing the digs process today. there's your checklist with little boxes. Make sure you're doing each one of those that year. Sheila, you want to add something to that?
Yeah, I agree with Jody. That checklist is very helpful in the career success guide. And I really think there's a lot of wealth of information in this career success guide, but I also want to show page 21. I know we talked about, is it too early to do a resume? On page 21 of the career success guide is the template that our office recommends using. And the other thing I want to point out is we have career peer mentors in our office, even virtually today in the Career Cafe that you can meet with, as well as the career liaisons, to start developing that resume, start using the template, and start talking and having conversations of how can I build these skills and how would I translate that onto the resume. I think that's important as a sophomore.
Daniel, do you have a favorite resource you would especially say, hey, as a freshman, boy, I'd really get involved in this?
If you can go back to the website, Damien, I highly encourage you guys to use the major sheets. Either you use the major to careers ? Or you use the Fresno State major in job outlook, and really start reading that information. I think there's so much wealth of information, and when you look at the ones we displayed, where you see where the local recent alumni are working, it gives you names of companies that you maybe sometimes you never heard in your life, but they are here in the Central Valley. So kind of just exploring, and based on the information you find there, you do some Google searches and start seeing what opportunities are out there. If definitely you're thinking of staying in the Central Valley. So as a freshman, I encourage you to read all that information, or as much as you can, and then connect with us if you have questions.
Thank you. Yeah, so there's some really great the outcomes and the what can I do with this major? There's something there for every single one of you, and it's kind of fun to just go, what can I do with a degree in communications? And it gives you all kinds of ideas, clubs and organizations, professional organizations. You can see Damien is showing right now all the different majors that are there. That really is key for you to do a little bit of investigating and discovery now early into your major to make sure that you chose the right major. And that's really the career path that you're kind of thinking of going down. I guess kind of on the flip side, we want to mention too is, sometimes you can choose a major and wind up in another field. I bet if you asked all of us our majors, I have a background in healthcare administration, and here I am in career development. And there's many stories like that. I used to advise a lot of business majors who were former biology majors, and they went into pharmaceutical sales. So we don't want to box you. An accountant has to be an accountant, a teacher, a nurse, but a lot of times there's a lot of flexibility with employers on what majors they're looking for, but that majors to careers and that outlook kind of really give you some pictures of what the future could look like. So highly encourage you to look at those resources. I want to move on to juniors, Mary and Damien. Mary, especially, right, there's questions about internships, and I think most students know. So now we're going to move to the engage. The DIGS process Jody was talking about. As a freshman, you discover. As a sophomore, you investigate. As a junior, you're now going to really engage. You're pretty comfortable with your major, hopefully. You kind of have a career path. Now you need the experience on your resume, because we know that's what employers say they want. So Mary, how do you get involved in internships, and why are they a good thing to think about your junior year?
Well, let me start with the second part of that question. Why are they a good thing to get involved with? I refer to, once you've got an initial career direction, I really encourage you to think about it that way. We're working on what you want to do first, not necessarily what you're going to do for the rest of your life. And that's a little less scary. So with regard to internships, it allows you to do a couple of things. It allows you to test drive your career hypothesis. You'll probably hear more about hypothesis, freshmen, as we continue to go on in your science classes. But it gives you a chance to see, is this really the kind of work I want to do? Because in your head, you think you're familiar with what that person's going to be doing, or what you would be doing in that role, and the reality is often very different. So doing an internship really allows you to find out what you want to do and what you don't want to do. The other thing that it provides you with is it gives you a great opportunity to become known in the company or in the industry. And employers would rather hire somebody they know or who has real tangible experience in that industry or in that kind of role. And so, and actually research shows the number one thing, influencer in employers' hiring decision of new college graduates, number one is they did an internship with that company, or number two, in that field. So it really gives you a leg up in terms of getting a position after college if you do an internship. So that now moving on to how do you get one? There's a lot of resources to do that. I'm not going to go into all of them because Debbie knows that I could talk about anything for an hour and we don't have that. So what I'm going to say is, of course, hire Fresno State, and Damien, I believe, is going to talk a little bit more about the nuts and bolts of that, which I will let you know the only way you should ever get into hire Fresno State is from your My Fresno State portal. Sometimes you can find a back door. Don't go through it because it just really gums up the works. The other, Damien, go ahead and actually get into hire Fresno State for me as a, and hopefully we're as a student. Okay, so to find internships, Damien, please click job search. Okay, and job search, which is somewhat redundant. To identify those that are internships, let me quickly tell you what these two things are. Internships, academic credit, simply means these could be paid or unpaid internships, but these are pre-approved internships and internship sites. So they've done all the legal stuff we need them to do. The second one, internships, professional experience, those are all paid internships, but we haven't gotten the paperwork for them to be an official site. It doesn't mean they couldn't be used for academic credit. It just means the paperwork hasn't been completed. And then you can look by job function, job location. And to be honest, the process for job search and internship is pretty much exactly the same. You'll want to go to internship or career fairs and participate in those things. And then real quick, once you find something, let's just click on one of them, like that social media one there. And if your account is active, which it takes about a business day to get that done after you go in the first time, you can read about the position and then you'll see the apply now button at the top. Click that, you're good to go to upload your resume, add a little letter of introduction, which this one doesn't require the cover letter, but you would use that cover letter language in the message. And that templates for that is again in our career success guidebook. So
as you can all see, Mary, is our resident expert on internships. The Craig School of Business has its own internship coordinator, and the Jordan College of Agriculture has its own internship coordinator, Imelda Santa Cruz, Dudley, and Michaela Ford in the business school. But you can always start with Mary, because Mary pretty well knows where all the internship programs are across campus, and she can steer you. Sometimes it's overseen by faculty, every college is very different. So if you're at the point, juniors, to get ready to do an internship, Mary is the person to reach out to in our office to have that discussion. Mary, there's a question, and when I was internship director in the School of Business, this came up a lot. Is it possible to do an internship and still be a full-time student taking 5 classes? How do you do that?
Absolutely. Internship courses do generally take, and those 3 units for example, in the Craig School of Business, if you're taking 5 classes, 3 of those units will be your internship course. So the time you're investing in your internship, which will generally be a total of 10 to 15 hours per week, and again, they can be paid or unpaid. Never, let me quickly say, never do an unpaid internship unless it's for academic credit. But you can work that in. And the alternative is if you're able to land a full-time internship during the summer, as long as you enroll in the fall course prior to starting your summer hours, which you can do in about April. So you can sign up for your fall internship course, and as long as you've done that, then you can do a summer internship for credit, and that's the only thing you're doing.
Okay, great, thank you. Okay, so internship questions can go to Mary. I want to make sure that we don't run out of time. Maybe one more question for juniors. Remember, we're in the engage process. Oh, sorry, there's a person who asked a question at 12:25. When we fill out our career plan, what are we supposed to put in the plan name field? I would just call it my career journey or my career path, whatever you want to call it. I think that's what you're referring to. If not, just re-ask the question. I will address that. Sorry, I didn't see that one up there. Audrey, is there anything else on questions I should address? I didn't see anything else.
Nope, they've all been answered.
Okay, awesome. Good job. Damien, how do you connect with people professionally? We say that that's part of engagement. You know, certainly I could go to a career fair. Are there other ways you might suggest a student networks? They're told to do that, but they don't always know how to do it.
Yeah, so there are a lot of different ways, and we already kind of covered some of them. So I would definitely start with some of the student clubs and organizations. That's a great place to start. And also make an appointment really with your career liaison for your major, for your college. A lot of times they can point you to different connections, and we engage with employers all the time, so we have connections for you to explore. We know people who you can ask questions about. Also another tool, another great tool, let me share that with you right now, is a website called LinkedIn. It's kind of like a social media site. It's kind of like a Facebook, but for a professional setting. So basically you set up a profile for yourself. Here is my profile. You kind of have an about section. You kind of you can put in your experience, your different jobs that you've had in the past, your education, and things like that. And as you put that in there, you can search for people that you are interested in connecting with. So for example, say you want to connect with someone that's an alumni. You can actually look at Fresno State, and you can connect with people that are alums, and you can see their job titles. You can search let's say, for example, we like to use this example a lot. It's a big employer in the Valley, wonderful company. So then you can see there are all these people who are working for Wonderful Citrus, the wonderful company, and you can actually see the people that are here, and you can try and connect with them. And as you connect with them, you can add a note and say something quick like, "Hi, I am an ag business major, and I am interested in the work that you do. Can I connect with you to ask you some simple questions?" So that's a really, and you would be surprised that most of the time people will respond, and people are very open, especially in the professional world, to answer questions like that and to connect with people. So LinkedIn is a great place. We actually have a whole webinar on LinkedIn, how to use LinkedIn. So go back to our website, to the YouTube channel, and you can watch a video about LinkedIn.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Damien. LinkedIn, they're saying now is like 95% of recruiters use LinkedIn. I'm curious, in the chat feature, can you all type in, do you have a LinkedIn profile? I'm curious because so many of, there's a large majority of you that are freshmen. I am just curious, how many students have a LinkedIn? Just say yes or no. I'd like to kind of see that. I guess we could have done a poll there. Okay, I'm seeing yes, I'm seeing no. Let's see. Okay, so it's kind of a mixed bag. So there is a webinar, as Damien mentioned, you can watch. And also we're going to be uploading some videos that are like cartoons on LinkedIn that has a 4-part series to us. So there's one of those to-do things when it comes to your career on your list is to create your LinkedIn profile along with your resume. I want to make sure that we have enough time for seniors and maybe one question on grad school. So Alita, I know you're hanging out there. I think the biggest question for seniors is, when do I start that job search? I'm graduating in May. I don't have to worry about waiting till May to look for a job, right? When should I start my job search?
Now would be a time. You don't want to wait till you're graduating. It's May and you already graduated. You want to start that just like, you know, hopefully you've been doing this since your freshman year. With all these wonderful tips we've been giving you, all those freshmen, when you're a senior, you won't be going, when should I start my job search? Because you would have already been doing that. You've been volunteering, you've been joining clubs, you might be interning, and you're already creating that network so that you'll be successful and that job search will be much easier for you. So we do see a lot of students that wait till they graduate because they're so busy with school. They really don't have time, or they don't make time, because we all have to balance that time to do that job search, because finding a job is a job, right? And so you do not want to wait. You want to start that earlier in your senior year, if not sooner.
Right, so we're looking at the DIGS process and what Alita is covering. So Mary and Damien covered your junior year, you're engaging, and now what Alita is alluding to is now we're looking at student success. So we discovered, we investigated, we engaged, and now we're leading to success, because we not only want you to get your degree, but we want you to be gainfully employed or maybe move on to grad school, right? So, you know, we probably have some, I think we saw 3 grads in our poll, and certainly all these resources we've gone over today also apply to grad students, but how do you get in? What do you do about thinking about grad school? Maybe I want to think about that now as a sophomore or a junior. Mary, you want to take that one?
Yeah, actually, my daughter went through that process very recently, and goodness gracious, she did everything she was supposed to do. So as she actually got her undergrad in child development, but she started to realize she really enjoyed research. And so, or was interested in research. So even as a freshman, and then as a sophomore and the rest of her time at Fresno State, she connected with her faculty and got involved as an undergraduate research assistant and left college with published, being a published author. Granted, she didn't write the whole article, but she was a contributing author to one of our faculty's research. And so, you know, and the coolest thing about this, and not all grad programs are this way. So just depending on what field you go into, Debbie, you'll probably say with MBA programs, we really want you to go out and work for 3 to 5 years before you go get your MBA. But if you're thinking at all about, if you're thinking at all about going on to master's or PhD, this is one of the few schools where you can get undergraduate research, and that's really going to set you apart. What happened with my daughter is, because she did that, she was able to get into what's called a 5-year master's PhD combo program at Texas Tech University. They are paying her tuition for the 5 years and paying her to serve either, first year she was a research assistant, this year she's a teaching assistant, and it's all paid for. We could never afford to send her to grad school, but thank goodness she did what she needed to do and got into grad school. So if you're thinking about it at all, check in with us and we can talk to you about the process, how to explore programs, and things you should be doing to really set yourself up to be a competitive candidate.
So again, you're hearing another reason to visit us in the Career Center and Zoom with us in the Career Center, because you can talk to all these wonderful experts in all these areas to help you decide if grad school should be a step, or if you're in grad school, you're still going to be doing career searches because you still want a career when you're done with grad school. So in the chat right now, as we kind of show you our office and how you can get a hold of us, if there's other workshops you would like to see our Career Center offer, our topics, if you could put those in the chat feature right now, what you would like to see some workshops in. We've very successfully done a lot of Zoom webinars this summer, from money management to resumes to interviewing to LinkedIn, all kinds of topics. But we would like to hear from you, and we can, you know, custom our workshops to fit what our audience is really looking for. So Damien, I think you have a slide on, we have a virtual career cafe. Do we have that available? Okay, so our virtual career cafe right now is open Monday, Wednesday, Thursdays from 10 to 12, and Tuesdays, and I can't read, it's cutting off. What are the times on Tuesdays and Fridays, Damien? Or we don't have Friday, right?
Tuesday 1 to 3, Debbie.
Okay, right, so those will probably change by next week. So just take a look at our website. These are student assistants who are career peer mentors who will help you get started on a lot of the topics, and then they can refer you to a specific counselor based on your needs. So we're going to encourage you to look at the virtual career cafe. And then do we have our, there's all the liaisons from today. Our telephone number is 278-2381. Audrey's usually the one who answers that, and she can set up an appointment with any of these wonderful experts that you met today. And then we have our website with tons of resources and materials, as we've shared with you today, fresnostate.edu/careers. And you're certainly welcome to call us or to look at that technology anytime that you are interested. So Audrey, do we have any, how do you apply from Hire Fresno State is a question.
I was just about to answer that. What you'll see is an apply now button at the top of each job description. If you're not seeing that yet, it can mean one of two things. You're brand new to Hire Fresno State and we haven't activated your account. Like I said, it takes about a business day to get that done. Or two, they want you to apply, and it's kind of silly that it does this, through their website. So you would just scroll down to the bottom of the job description, and there it will list the application process, and it may just be a link to another website.
Okay, great. And someone asked about, well, how do you set up one of these virtual appointments? So you can come into the virtual career cafe and talk to a CPM. They can set up an appointment, or you can call us at 278-2381 and let Audrey know, who's usually answering the telephone, that you would like to have a one-on-one appointment for some career guidance, and she'll probably ask your major. And if you're undeclared, that's okay. Jody can see you. We can help anybody. On the bottom of our screen right now, Damien too is putting up the Zoom link to get into our virtual cafe. So either way, I don't think you could set up an appointment through the website. So the best is to either Zoom in on the virtual cafe or to give us a call and we'll set you up. Any other questions, Audrey, that you're seeing? I'm not seeing. It looks like we've answered quite a few questions today. And in our chat feature, somebody wanted to see a special major workshop. So appreciate that. So I think we are about out of time. We're 1 minute too. Wow, lots of information. Hope you don't have brain overload today. These are all the bright and happy and smiling faces that we are a very customer focused office, and we're here to help you. Our success is your success becomes our success. We hope today that you have kind of a checklist of your career game plan. And if not, it's okay. Come and see us and we'll help create one for you. Happy you could join us today. Thanks to all these wonderful liaison who shared so much information. Damien for running our webinar, Audrey for answering questions. And we hope to see you this fall. We will be available virtually all week long. So come and visit us. Go Dogs. We're happy you're at Fresno State. Thanks everyone. Have a great afternoon.